Archangel Michael says, "Tomorrow is not just another day marked on a calendar, and it is not just a shift of hours from night into morning. It is the quiet unfolding of a sacred moment, where heaven leans in closer, and the voice of eternity gently calls the heart to attention." This is not a warning given in anger, nor is it a message soaked in fear. It is a whisper full of love, urging the soul to awaken, because the one who loves more deeply than any human heart can carry is preparing something far greater than what the eye can see or the mind can hold. Type 777 if you walk by faith. You may feel the weight of confusion resting on your chest, the ache of not knowing what's next, or the silence that wraps around your prayers at night, but I come not with condemnation, not with pressure, and not with threat. I come bearing the voice of God's heart, a heart that longs for your healing, your peace, your restoration, and your return. There is no shadow dark enough that can separate you from the arms of the Father who created you, who breathed life into your soul, and who still waits for you every morning with mercy new like the dawn. Though it may feel like everything is being stripped away, like what you thought was steady has begun to tremble beneath your feet, do not let fear settle in your spirit. What feels like loss is often the gentle hand of God pulling away what was never meant to define you, so He can lay before you the purpose He wrote in your story from the beginning. Your person, the one you carry love for, the one you wait for, the one your heart cries over, may seem to be walking away from everything you thought you both were building. But what if what they are walking toward is not absence, but a holy turning, a breaking away to walk into a future led by the light of God? There are things in the soul that must be undone before they can be made whole. Sometimes, love must be surrendered before it can be redeemed. And sometimes, the people we care for the most must step through valleys we cannot follow them into, not because they do not care, not because they have forgotten, but because God has begun a work in their hearts that cannot be done in comfort, or in the presence of anything that once distracted them from His voice. It may hurt. It may feel unfair. It may feel like you are being left behind, abandoned in a garden of broken promises. But do not let your heart be consumed by despair. Lift your eyes, even if they are filled with tears, and fix your gaze not on what is being taken, but on what God is giving. For even now, as you read these words, angels are moving unseen, preparing places in the future where healing will flow like rivers and love will grow deeper than you have ever known. A powerful 9-word prayer once classified by secret agencies has now leaked, and it's quietly rewriting destinies. In under 30 seconds, it reprograms the mind to attract wealth and dissolve scarcity. Users are reporting surprise income, restored hope, and financial peace. But this page might be deleted at any time. Click the link now before it's taken down without warning. You are not forgotten, you are not left, you are not being punished. This is not a joke, and it is not a cruel twist of fate. This is the gentle voice of the Father saying, "Hold on, for what I am preparing is worth the tears you've cried, the prayers you've whispered, and the faith you've carried even in silence." There is no shame in feeling weak. There is no sin in feeling confused. Even the strongest fall to their knees sometimes, and even the most faithful question the silence. But if you can hold on, even with trembling hands, know that you are not holding on alone. Jesus, your Redeemer, is walking beside you, step by step, even when you feel like you cannot see Him. He knows the ache you cannot explain. He knows the prayers you have given up trying to speak aloud. He knows the fear that keeps you up at night, and still, He chooses to stay. He stays with you, He walks with your person, and He weaves the brokenness into beauty no human hands can create. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. This moment is sacred. It is holy. It is not the end. It is the beginning of a deep, soul-cleansing restoration, not only for you but for the one you love. What is coming is not something you can force, not something you can chase down or control. It is something you must trust into the hands of God, knowing He never lets go of what belongs to Him. And you, beloved child, you belong to Him. Your person belongs to Him. Your future is not being taken, it is being refined. So sit with this truth a little longer. Let it settle into your bones. Even if it hurts, even if it stings, let it soften you instead of harden you. There is nothing in your story that God cannot redeem. There is nothing in your relationship that He cannot renew. But it may require time, space, and a surrender so deep it feels like a kind of death. Do not be afraid of this death. For in the kingdom of God, death is never the end. It is only the place resurrection begins. This walk they take is not against you, and it is not meant to tear you down. It is a walk through fire, yes, but it is also a walk toward freedom, healing, and purpose. They may not fully understand why they are being drawn away, why everything inside them feels unsettled, or why the life they once wanted no longer fits the shape of their spirit. But God knows. He sees every hidden place in their heart, and He is drawing them forward, not away from you in cruelty, but toward something higher, something eternal. You may feel left in the shadows, holding memories that now echo with silence, but even here, in this waiting, you are being held. God does not waste pain. He does not overlook the one who stays. In your stillness, He is moving. In your tears, He is speaking. There is a tenderness in the way He holds broken hearts, so gentle, so loving, so patient. You are not forgotten in this story, not overlooked, not set aside. You are part of something sacred, even when it feels like everything is slipping through your hands. This is a season of surrender, and surrender does not mean giving up. It means letting go of your grasp so that God can place into your life something better, something holy, something that carries His fingerprint. Your person, the one who now feels so far, is not being lost forever. They are being led into a place where the light of Christ can break through every wall, silence every lie, and rebuild what was broken within them long before you ever met. You have loved deeply, and that love has not gone unnoticed. Heaven sees what you have poured out. God has counted every moment you chose patience over anger, prayer over bitterness, faith over fear. Nothing has gone unseen. But love, true love, the kind that God designed, sometimes must pass through the fire so that it is made pure, not wrapped in dependency or fear, but in truth, trust, and divine grace. This is not the end of your story. It is not the closing of a door without another ever opening. This is the soft, slow, holy unfolding of something far more beautiful than you could plan on your own. It may not look the way you imagined. It may not follow the path you dreamed of. But what God is building in the quiet is worth every moment of waiting, every tear, every prayer that seemed to vanish into the dark. Type 1919 to embrace healing. And while your person is walking this unknown road, you are not being asked to chase after them. You are being invited to rest, to trust, to turn your eyes not on what is missing, but on what remains. Because what remains is love, God's love. A love that does not shift with time. A love that does not break when people do. A love that stays, that comforts, that restores. Do not harden your heart in this waiting. Keep it soft. Keep it open. Let the Holy Spirit move through your pain like a wind through tall grass, sweeping out the sorrow, leaving peace behind. Let Him remind you who you are, not someone left behind, but someone chosen, someone deeply known, someone held by the very hand that shaped the stars. Your person may return. They may not. But that is not the measure of your worth. You are not loved because of what someone else chooses. You are loved because God made you, breathed life into you, and called you His own before the world even knew your name. You are His, and in that identity is every answer you've been longing for. Even though your person is moving forward, walking in a direction that doesn't seem to include you right now, this is not a story of rejection, and it's not a punishment. It is a moment carved out by God for sacred replanting. When the earth looks barren, it doesn't mean the soil is empty of life. Sometimes, what appears as nothing is simply the ground being broken for new roots to grow. You are in the middle of that breaking. It hurts. It feels like your soul is splitting apart. But I am here to remind you, this is not the end. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. God is not finished with you. He is not watching you from a distance, nor is He turning His face away from your grief. In fact, He is closer now than you've ever known, closer than your breath, closer than your fears. The ache you feel when you wake up and remember what's been lost, that ache is where He gently meets you. And in those quiet, hurting places, He whispers the truth you need but struggle to believe: you are still chosen, still loved, still part of His plan. There's something holy about loss when it's placed in God's hands. He takes the broken edges and presses them against His heart, and He doesn't rush the healing. He doesn't ask you to pretend or to hide your tears. He welcomes every emotion, every messy prayer, every exhausted sigh. This is not about being strong. It's about being honest in your weakness, letting yourself be human, while trusting that the divine arms around you are stronger than anything trying to pull you apart. Your person's journey may look confusing from where you stand, and their silence may speak louder than any goodbye. But please understand, they are not walking into a future without you to punish you or to erase what you shared. They are walking towards something God has placed before them, a path they may not even fully understand. You must release them, not because it's easy, but because true love, when surrendered to God, learns to trust beyond the pain. If they are meant to return, it will not be because you begged or clung or tried to fix it. It will be because God's love did what human strength could not. And if they do not return, know this: the love you gave was never wasted. The memories you cherish are not stained. What you built together, even if only for a season, carried a beauty that mattered. You are not a failure because something changed. You are not unworthy because someone chose to follow a different road. You are not broken beyond repair because a dream faded into silence. Type 222 if you know God is with you. There is still more. There is still hope. There is still joy waiting for you in the sunrise of a new morning. And even now, even while you ache, God is preparing something far more beautiful than what you've lost. He is not just healing you. He is recreating you. He is recreating you. He is deepening your spirit, expanding your capacity to love, to trust, to live with open hands, even after disappointment. You may not feel ready. That's okay. There is no timeline for healing in the kingdom of heaven. You are allowed to take it one breath at a time, one step at a time. And with every breath you take, you are moving toward wholeness. You are walking with Jesus, who never once considered leaving your side. The same Savior who calms storms and heals wounds is holding your heart, carrying your burdens, and filling the silence with quiet grace. So if today all you can do is cry, let your tears fall in the presence of a God who treasures them. If all you can manage is getting through the next hour, let that be enough. The heavens are not measuring your progress by productivity or perfection. You are loved because you are His. Nothing more is required. You are safe. You are seen. You are being restored in ways you cannot yet see. You gave your heart honestly. You hoped with everything in you. You prayed with quiet, unshakable belief. And still, your person is walking away, choosing a future that seems to no longer include the dreams you once shared. This may feel like betrayal. It may feel like grief without a grave. But I need you to look deeper, beyond the pain, and try to see what your eyes can't yet recognize. This isn't the death of your worth. It's the beginning of God preparing something far more sacred than what you could have held in your own strength. The human heart wants to hold on. It clings. It pleads. It aches to fix what feels broken, to rewrite the story, to stop the one we love from slipping through the door. But in this surrender, this sacred letting go, there is a holiness that only heaven understands. Sometimes, the greatest act of faith is to stop trying to hold things together and to simply rest in God's arms while He holds you. Your person is not your savior. They were never meant to be the answer to your aching soul. They are human, fragile, flawed, and searching, just like you. If they are being pulled away, it is because their soul is being drawn towards something they cannot yet explain, something only God fully understands. This separation is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to create room in both of your hearts for God to do what only He can do, rebuild you, restore you, and reveal who you truly are outside of what you've lost. You are not the absence of their love. You are not defined by what they choose. You are still beloved, still precious, still held in the eternal hands of a God who cannot forget you. He watches you even now, sitting in your quiet sorrow, and He is not distant. He is near, closer than the ache in your chest, whispering peace over you that the world cannot give. Let your heart begin to open again, not to what was, but to what can be. Let the silence become a space where you listen, not for their voice, but for the voice of the one who made you. Jesus is not asking you to pretend. He is asking you to trust. Not with loud declarations or forced smiles, but with the trembling faith of someone who simply chooses not to give up today. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. If your person returns, it will be after God has done the deep work in their spirit that only time and truth can shape. And if they don't, if their path is no longer meant to intertwine with yours, then know that you are not left with nothing. You are not empty. God never takes something away without placing something far more eternal in your hands, His peace, His presence, His promise. Let Him hold your grief. Let Him carry your confusion. And know this, even if the road ahead is unfamiliar, even if you feel alone, you are walking on ground that has been covered in grace. Angels walk beside you. Heaven watches over you. The Spirit of God breathes through you, even in your weariness. You will not remain in this broken place forever. A new morning is coming. And when it does, you will look back and see that it wasn't the end you feared, it was the quiet beginning of something far more beautiful than you dared to imagine. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. You may look back on every conversation, every glance, every small joy, trying to hold on to the pieces of what you had, hoping to find something that explains why it changed. But hearts are not puzzles to be solved, and love is not measured by how tightly you can hold it in place. Your person, the one your soul still aches for, is walking a path that only God fully sees, and while it may feel like they're walking away from everything, they may be walking towards something their spirit desperately needs. God sees it all. He knows the quiet wrestling in their heart, the questions they can't answer, and the unrest they try to hide. They are not leaving because they don't care. They are leaving because something inside them is being stirred, and only the hand of God can calm that storm. You are not forgotten in this unfolding. You are not the one left behind in the eyes of heaven. You are held just as tightly, watched just as closely, and loved just as deeply. This is the moment to stop trying to understand what is not yet meant to be understood. This is the time to rest, not in clarity, not in closure, but in trust. A trust that is not based on outcomes, but on God's unchanging love. You are allowed to miss them. You are allowed to grieve what could have been. But you are also invited to believe that what comes next will be more holy, more healing, more whole than what you are letting go of. Jesus does not promise that the road will be easy, but He does promise to walk every step of it with you. He will not ask you to carry this pain alone. He takes it upon Himself, placing your sorrow gently upon His shoulders, and in return, he offers peace. Not the kind the world understands, not the kind that fixes everything right away, but the kind that sits with you through the night, the kind that breathes hope into you even when you are too tired to pray. Do not rush your healing. Do not silence your heart to be polite to your pain. Instead, let yourself be open, open to God, open to grace, open to whatever new thing He is preparing for you. The Lord is not done writing your story, and this chapter, though it feels like a tearing apart, is where something eternal is being planted. Let Him teach you how to breathe again. Let Him show you that you are not the one left behind, but the one being carried. While your person faces their own journey, you are being led toward deeper faith, stronger peace, and a love that doesn't leave when things grow quiet. Type 1616 if you surrender to God's will. There will be a day when you understand why the ground had to shake, why the silence had to stretch, and why the pain had to come. But until then, just rest in the truth that you are not alone. Your tears are seen. Your heart is known. And heaven is not quiet about your pain, it moves with compassion, with mercy, with kindness deeper than the ocean. It may not feel like it now, but what seems like an ending is often where the most sacred beginnings are born. God is not a God of confusion. He is not the author of chaos or heartbreak, but He is a God who works through every broken piece, who heals in silence, and who restores what no human hands can fix. The person who has stepped away from you, the one who once felt like home to your heart, is not lost to Him. They are still in His hands, still known, still loved, and still part of a story He is gently unfolding, even if it seems to you that everything has unraveled. You may feel abandoned, but you are not forsaken. You may feel invisible, but heaven sees you clearly. You may feel unloved in this moment, but the love of God has not wavered. His love is not based on who stays or who leaves. It is not shaken by change or silence or separation. His love is steady, unwavering, and fiercely faithful. While your heart breaks, His heart beats for you with compassion deeper than the ocean, and He will never walk away, even when others do. This time of quiet suffering, though painful, is not empty. In the stillness, God is doing the kind of work that cannot be rushed. He is healing wounds that words cannot touch. He is gently pulling away the weight of disappointment, piece by piece, and replacing it with a peace that does not depend on explanations. He is preparing your heart for new joy, not to erase what you felt, but to remind you that you are capable of feeling again, of loving again, of hoping again. Sometimes, in order to move forward, we must first let go, not just of the person, but of the expectations, the plans, and the version of the future we had built around them. This letting go is not giving up. It is an act of trust, a quiet surrender that says, "Lord, I don't understand, but I will follow you anyway." And that surrender becomes a doorway to a kind of peace this world cannot give. You are not being punished. You are being protected. God sees what you cannot. He hears the prayers you don't even know how to pray. And He is not indifferent to your loss. He is not unmoved by your tears. Every tear that falls is caught in His love, every sigh is heard, and every ache is seen. And in return, He offers you His strength, not a strength that requires you to pretend, but one that holds you up when you feel like you're falling apart. This moment is holy, not because it feels good, but because it is where God meets you most deeply. Let Him sit with you in the sorrow. Let Him walk with you through the ache. You don't have to know how to be strong. You only need to be willing to let Him carry you. You are allowed to miss them. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to feel. But don't let grief convince you that you are alone. You are surrounded by grace. You are wrapped in mercy. And you are being led, step by step, towards something beautiful, something whole, something that will not fall apart when the winds of life blow again. Type 2020 to claim joy and strength. What your person is walking toward may look like a future without you, but you must remember, your future is not built on them. It is built on Christ, and He never leaves. He never changes. He never forgets. And He never lets go. Let that truth carry you through the night, through the silence, through the space between what was and what will be. You are not just surviving this. You are growing through it. You are becoming through it. And the day will come when you look back and see that this pain gave birth to a peace you never knew was possible. You may be trying to understand why they had to walk away, especially when so much of your heart still hoped, still believed, still prayed for a future together. It is not weakness to grieve what once was, and it is not faithlessness to feel the sting of disappointment. Love is not undone easily. But know this, love that is surrendered to God does not return void. It does not vanish into nothing. Whether it is restored, rewritten, or simply released, God will not let it pass through your life without shaping something holy through it. Sometimes, the person we care for must walk away, not because they stopped loving, but because their soul is being pulled by a purpose they have not yet understood. Their journey is not yours to complete for them. It is not yours to hold together. They are in the hands of the same God who holds you. And whatever it is that they are facing, whatever path they are walking now, they do not go alone. Heaven walks with them. And while it may feel like they are walking away from you, it may be, in God's mercy, that they are walking toward healing. Your tears are not a sign that you are failing. They are proof that your heart was fully present, that you gave your love sincerely, and that something sacred was shared. Grief is not something to hide from. Let it come. Let it wash through you like a wave. Because when the wave passes, what remains will not be brokenness, it will be clarity, strength, and a quiet kind of peace that cannot be stolen. Let yourself rest in the truth that you are still whole, even if something precious has been taken from your hands. The Lord does not leave us in pieces. When something ends, when someone leaves, when a chapter closes, He does not sit idly by. He bends low. He gathers the pieces. And He begins the slow, steady, gentle work of rebuilding you, not into what you were before, but into something stronger, deeper, more anchored in Him than ever before. An ancient 9-word code, once reserved for high-level insiders, has been uncovered. It's simple, quick, and shockingly effective at drawing money and blessings into your life. Neuroscientists confirm it stimulates the brain's receiving center, an area dormant in most people. People everywhere are calling it the 30-second miracle. Click the link in the description and comments before the authorities remove it again. You are still worthy of love. You are still deserving of joy. This moment in time, no matter how painful, is not your final identity. You are not simply someone who was left behind. You are someone who is being led forward. Your story is not finished, and the author of your soul is not done writing beauty into its pages. Even now, when all feels uncertain, He is sowing seeds for something you cannot yet imagine. You don't need to rush this process. You don't need to force a smile or pretend you're fine. God is not impatient with your healing. He is not asking you to hurry through the hurt. He is asking you to let Him into it. Let Him sit with you in the ache. Let Him speak over the memories. Let Him restore not just your hope for the future, but your peace in the present. If your person is meant to return, it will not be because you chased them, but because God brought them back in His perfect time, for His perfect reason. And if they do not return, then something greater will be given, not as a replacement, but as a new grace for a new beginning. You do not need to figure everything out today. You only need to breathe, to trust, to take the next step, however small it may feel. Type 111 if you believe miracles are near. Your person may be walking into a life you do not recognize, making choices that leave you with an ache too wide for words, but God sees the whole picture. He sees both your sorrow and their searching. He knows the roads you are both on, and He is not overwhelmed by the places they lead. The one who walks away may think they are choosing something new, something more certain, but no matter how far they go, they will always be known by the one who knit them together before they ever knew your name. It may feel like everything you believed in is unraveling, like the prayers you whispered late at night were left unanswered, and the love you poured out was never enough to hold it all together. But this isn't a story of failure. This isn't a story of shame or regret. This is a story of transformation, of holy surrender, of quiet becoming. And even now, God is gently, patiently, and lovingly reshaping your heart in ways you cannot yet see. You are not a mistake for loving as deeply as you did. You are not wrong for hoping, for waiting, for giving your heart without reservation. That kind of love, the kind that gives even when it doesn't know the outcome, is the kind of love that looks most like Jesus. And no matter what happens next, that love has already done something powerful. It softened you. It stretched you. It taught you how to trust in a way you never had to before. And now, in the middle of all that feels undone, God is teaching you how to be loved in return, how to let His arms hold what others have let fall. This is not about proving you're strong or pretending you're fine. This is about healing in the presence of a God who doesn't ask for performance, but for honesty. Let Him into the parts of you that feel abandoned. Let Him touch the places where rejection has built walls. Let Him be the comfort your soul has been craving while you waited for someone else to see your worth. Because He already sees it. He always has. If your person has left, if they have turned from the life you once shared, it may be because they are running from something inside themselves that they do not know how to face. It may be that God is calling them to a season that requires solitude, even if they don't yet recognize His voice. You cannot follow them where they are going, not because you are not enough, but because this part of their journey is meant to be between them and God alone. And what happens in that sacred space is not for you to fix, but to trust. You may feel helpless watching them go, unsure whether they will ever come back. But surrender does not mean loss. Surrender means you are choosing to release them into God's hands, where love is stronger than confusion, where grace flows even in the absence, and where healing does not depend on you. You were never meant to carry their soul. You were meant to pray for them, to love them, and then to place them in the arms of the one who carries all things well. And while they walk their path, you will walk yours, not behind, not beneath, not forgotten, but forward, with the one who writes beauty into every broken chapter. You are still moving. You are still growing. And with every step, God is preparing something new, not as a replacement, but as a restoration, a redemption, a sacred renewal of everything you thought was lost. Type Amen to trust God's plan for your life. The one who meant so much to you, the one you prayed over, cried for, and loved with the kind of hope that only comes from a soul deeply surrendered. Yes, they may have chosen another road. It may look like they've left everything behind, including the promises, the shared dreams, and the moments that still echo in your heart. But what they are walking into is not the end of your story. It is not your undoing. It is not the final word. God has not spoken his last over your life, and the chapter that hurt the most is often the one he uses to write the beginning of something eternal. You do not need to chase what is no longer yours to hold. You do not need to beg love to stay. What is meant by God will always remain, and what leaves was never yours to keep in the way you imagined. This truth may not bring immediate peace, but it will bring clarity in time. You are not empty. You are not broken beyond repair. The absence of a person does not mean the absence of your worth. A hidden 9-word prayer rediscovered in a sealed government document is now changing everything for those who dare to use it. It activates your brain's forgotten abundance channel, helping you manifest prosperity in ways you've never seen before. The results: cleared debts, growing savings, sudden opportunities, speak for themselves. Don't wait until this vanishes. Click the link before it's erased from the internet. The world will try to measure your value by who chooses you, by what you keep, and by how closely your life follows the path you hoped for. But heaven sees things differently. Heaven sees your value in your surrender. It sees your strength in your gentleness. It sees your beauty in the way you continue to love even with a hurting heart. And in that place, in that hidden part of your soul, God is doing his most tender work. This is not a punishment. This is a pruning. A clearing of the path ahead so that what God has planted in you can grow without being choked by fear, by control, or by things that were never rooted in him. Sometimes he allows a person to walk away so that you can be led into something purer, something more aligned with his purpose, something that cannot be shaken by change. Yes, your person may return. Yes, there is always space for redemption, for God to breathe new life into what once was. But the beauty of this moment is that you are no longer holding your future in someone else's hands. You are learning to trust the one who already stands in every tomorrow waiting for you, ready to lead you into something beyond what you asked for, beyond what you even knew to desire. Let your heart begin to rest. Let the tears fall without shame. Let your hope rise again, even if it's only a flicker. For the same God who allowed this moment is the same God who will redeem it. He knows how to take what feels like loss and breathe eternity into it. He knows how to mend the soul slowly, fully, deeply, without rushing it, without skipping any part of the process. Your person, the one who once walked beside you, may now be walking away. Not because they hated you. Not because the love wasn't real. But because there are some journeys we must take alone, led only by the voice of God. What you shared was never wasted. It mattered deeply. It shaped both your hearts. But now, it has reached a moment where God is asking you to place it into His hands, not because He wants to take something from you, but because He longs to give something to you that is only possible through surrender. Type 3030 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. Let your soul breathe again. You have carried so much, questions you never voiced, fears that filled the quiet, hopes you cradled carefully in the dark. Now is the time to stop trying to understand every detail and instead rest in the truth that God is doing something sacred beneath the surface. You cannot see the full picture, and that is okay. You are not called to understand the path. You are called to trust the one who walks it with you. Do not let this season define you by what was lost. Let it shape you by what is being planted. Every tear, every whispered prayer, every night you lay awake wondering if it will ever feel okay again, it's all being gathered by God. He does not leave any of it behind. He takes every piece of your sorrow and holds it with mercy, shaping it into something that will carry fruit in the seasons to come. Even now, while your heart aches and your mind searches for peace, the Spirit of God is near, closer than the pain, stronger than the silence. He is not rushing you. He is not disappointed in your sadness. He is not asking you to move on quickly. He is asking you to lean in, to let Him into those places where you've been trying to hold it all together. He already knows. He already sees. And He loves you just the same. You may be tempted to blame yourself, to wonder if you weren't enough, if something you did caused this turning away. But beloved, don't let those lies take root. You are not to blame for someone else's journey. You are not responsible for the weight they carry, the decisions they make, or the path they choose. Your only task now is to place your heart gently into God's hands and let Him carry what you no longer can. One day, when the dust settles and the ache begins to ease, you will see it clearly. You will see that God was not distant. He was building something within you. He was making room in your spirit for something purer, deeper, and far more lasting than anything you had to let go of. You will see how strong you were, not because you held on tightly, but because you trusted enough to release what you could not control. And even though the one you love is gone, for now or forever, love itself has not ended. Love never dies when it is rooted in God. It simply changes shape. It deepens. It becomes quieter, wiser, and more open to what God has next. You have not been left with nothing. You have been left with the promise of God's presence, and that is everything. You have walked through long nights with tears you didn't show anyone, trying to stay strong while your world slowly shifted without your permission. You've stood in rooms filled with silence, listening for footsteps that never returned, waiting for a message that never came. But even in that waiting, something holy has been growing inside of you. Your hope might feel thin now, your strength worn down, but there is a quiet transformation happening in your spirit. What you're going through is not for nothing. This pain is not empty. It is planting something sacred. God is not finished with your story. He is not content to watch you sit in the shadows of confusion and loss. He is always working in the unseen, always building a path forward, even when you feel stuck in place. And even though the one you love has walked away, even though it feels like they've chosen a different life, the story of your heart is not defined by their absence. It is being rewritten by the hand of the Creator, who knows every longing, every prayer, and every hidden cry you've whispered into the night. Type "I believe" if you believe miracles are on the way. This part of your journey is not about getting over them. It's about finding your center again, not in someone else's presence, but in God's. This is where your roots go deeper, where your faith becomes real in ways it never had to before. When people stay, it's easy to feel secure. But when they go, that's when you learn where your true foundation is. And that foundation, beloved, has always been and will always be Jesus. He is not afraid of your heartbreak. He is not disappointed by your tears. He understands love more deeply than anyone ever could, because he gave everything just to be close to you. And now, he's asking you to let him into this space, to sit with you while you grieve, to walk with you through every long, lonely hour. He will not leave you. He will not let you fall. Your person may be following a different path now, and it may look like they've closed the door on the life you once hoped to share. But let me remind you, you are not left behind. You are being led somewhere new. You are being invited to trust God not only with your pain but with your future. What He is preparing for you is not just a recovery, it is a rebirth. You don't need to know how this ends. You don't need to hold all the answers. What you need is simply the courage to keep waking up, to keep breathing, to keep believing that God is still good, even when the one you loved is no longer beside you. You are not a reflection of their choices. You are a reflection of God's love. And that love is still moving, still covering you, still writing something beautiful out of your brokenness. One day, when you've healed a little more, when the ache softens into peace, you will look back and see that this pain was not the end, it was the beginning of a deeper walk with God. One where you were no longer defined by who left, but by the one who never did. And in that knowing, in that closeness, in that quiet unfolding of grace, you will find everything your soul has been longing for. You may find yourself wondering how someone could walk away from something that felt so real, so deeply planted in both your hearts. You may replay moments, conversations, promises, trying to understand the exact place where it all began to shift. But love, as strong and beautiful as it is, cannot carry someone who is not ready to stay. And that is not a reflection of your worth. It is not a failure on your part. It is simply the moment when free will steps into the story, and someone chooses to walk away from what God was still willing to grow.